yep, this is me having two lives on Welcome to My World. Running two live. There it is. Now watch this. This is where the other video cut out right as I was showing you that because they don't want you to see it. Look at that. Um. Well, here's what I know about Dubai. Because they be the ones that have been following me around, and they be the ones that were siphoning all the angelic energy, all the cosmic energy, in order to build a little city for 9 million and some flying cars. It's why I had to prove an Arxiad princess and blow my ass out all the way back 1800 years and become this walking whatever I am with all these gifts and powers for the collective, because you were dealing with a bunch of Arabian sorcerers that had got together with a bunch of Asian ciphers, and these are the ones that built your 353 because they just thought, I don't know what they thought. They thought it was going to build their little buildings over here and they're just going to have a sanctuary for 9 million of their closest friends. And then they's just going to make us into flying cars because it's what they did. And I'm not even joking. We had to pull ourselves out of it. Not to mention Saint Sarah, who you would consider the coming of the second coming of Christ, was coded to all of your wheel drums, the entire decimal system, every single internet connection down here, every single transaction that they were running financials on from across the world was going through our starseed fields, because all of this was built from starseed physics, except they just thought that they's gonna, I don't know. I don't know what they thought, but this is how it ended up. It ended up a pyramid, which is attached to the ground over here, sitting straight up. And I've been telling my team and I've been talking to my team about this for the past few months, ever since New Orleans, and we came out of the core and I blew out to the G, that these pyramids at some point were going to all flip over, because we're seeing them standing up, but at some point they would flip over and start magnetizing back down, because it's cosmically set up. And 353 is not a road, and it's your intestines. These guys just thought that they'd come take all the codes and build the whole world and build your body. What they did was build their own bodies into a freaking, I don't know what they're going to end up looking like, to be honest. And since I'm back on here, and since they already froze my deal, I might as well show you this. So I'm pretty sure, because Mim was on that first live before, right when it went down, and she's connected with me in New Orleans. We're the ones who blew out the grid in New Orleans. We're the ones who went all the way 0 point and flew out of the hydrogen collider, because we did, in the ethers. And so basically the 30th and 31st, I was having to stay well, it felt awful. It felt awful because it felt like I had blown up and I could feel so much density and even darkness around me, is how I would say it. But because for the longest time we had put up walls and we were able to keep it away, and for those 2 days in the process that we were in, it's like we had to go inside out, and we had to explode outward, and in doing so we we had to open up, and that last bit of darkness that was anything sedentary between the realities, between the parallels, universes, even, we had to go through in order to connect. And some of y'all might feel that in the coming days. We know that the 4th, November 4th, is a big deal just because it takes 3 days for the energy to, from when it blows out in the sun now, or when you see any type of big CME, look on your calendar, mark 3 days, because that it's going to take 3 days for it to get down here. So the massive explosion and everything that we saw on the 1st, we can bet something's gonna hit us by the 4th, maybe even sooner. And then 11/11 has been coming up because in 2018, on that 11/11 portal, the entire collective that we were all working together under that 2018 11/11 portal, that's when we went into Uluru and into the blood of the planet and came out. And I used to think I thought it was Hawaii. And I kept saying, when I see the mountain, I'll know it. But it ended up, it's in Antarctica. The mountain that I came out, that I had to like push up and embody, and I came out at speaking. I went in speaking 2 light languages, and I came out speaking a whole host of them. It was in Antarctica that mountain was, that we came out of. Pyramid Mountain, whatever the hell it was, is a big great thing. But whatever was in the middle wasn't just organic. That's why I thought it was Hawaii, because it had a bunch of mechanical, it had a bunch of man-made crap in it. But I'm 95% sure it's Antarctica now. What I wanted to show y'all really quick, oh, and I'll add, the November 16th date has been coming up as well. And if you're seeing that date in our world, 11/17, literally, from the dark side, after we had bulldozed back in the timeline from 3030 to do it. So, and now what's happened is I've flipped into that timeline that the other traveler made with me. And so 11/16, 11/17, around there, just know that that's what, because Jupiter was being controlled, it was the tabernacle, and Jupiter was being controlled from outside, and it literally had a space chute down to Earth. It was this weird, like, tube. We got rid of that in, I guess, 2019. I think it was 2019. It could have been the end of 2018, but somewhere around there. That's whenever we got rid of that weird Jupiter chute, whatever that was. So I just wanted to show y'all really quick and play this one since I came back on.
Astronomers have discovered a cosmic superbubble surrounding the sun and our solar system, which spans 1,000 light years across. But what exactly is this thing? Long ago, when stars in our local area, the Milky Way galaxy, would go supernova, dense gas was pushed outwards into the cosmos. As time went on, other stars in close proximity also went supernova. Those enormous clouds of gas combined, creating what's now known as the local bubble. Our sun, along with our entire solar system, just so happened to drift through this local bubble as it was making its way around the Milky Way, and we currently sit almost exactly in its center. On the edges of this bubble, gas will condense and create many star-forming regions.
Now notice, there's the Corona Australis. There's Ophiuchus, right there. And by the way, it just didn't so happen to do anything. And that cosmic bubble is that film that I was talking about, that all of us seeds were holding together. We formed that big bubble, so as everything was blowing up, we were catching it. It didn't matter if you were the most ancient seed or not, because us ancient seeds had formed an outer bubble so that whenever everyone else exploded, then it would catch, and then it's formed back down. And then the third wave came in, exploded, it went out, it caught, it came back in. And this is how the antimatter ended up basically sucking out to all white, because the bubble was big and then it got smaller and then it went out again and got bigger, and then more came in and it came back. And those are those waves that we've been riding. You follow? Because we're inside the middle, and we changed the solar frequency and repoled this down into Gemini and turn that motherfucker on. We put the sun. They wanted to put us down in the core. Okay, fine. We had the cosmic bubble is what's bouncing your light off of you. It's what's bouncing your frequency. It's what's bouncing your healing frequency. It's what's bouncing spells. If you happen to be casting spells, it was always bouncing off that cosmic bubble, which is why and how all their spells are being returned to them. We can't even hold it. We can't, all it's going to do is refract off of a cosmic bubble. And even the past 2 years, as it was getting so bad, right? With the black magic and this and that. I mean, we know. But however, what was happening was it was getting smaller and smaller, the field that they were doing it in. Them not realizing it. It's how all of us could see it all, just depending on which membrane you were in this cosmic bubble.
Directly in the middle of this bubble may explain why star-forming regions in space are so far away from our little blue planet, as stars will only form on the edge of this cosmic superbubble. Astronomers have discovered
they were only formed on the edge. Let me play this one more time so you see the beginning.
Cosmic superbubble surrounding the sun and our solar system.
We made that, y'all.
1,000 light years across. But what exactly is this thing? Long ago, when stars in our local area, the Milky Way galaxy, would go supernova, dense gas was pushed outwards into the cosmos. As time
and the other reason with the stars, the original chart that I showed y'all, is because the moon was going over Betelgeuse, and Betelgeuse went supernova. It went supernova a long time ago. They were trying to build their little gas world, their little xenon world, their little blue light world, whatever the F-balls, inside that film. Let me rewind it just a little bit. Boom. Right like that. See that? See how it made that eye? Well, your little city for 9 million people, And the ones that I ran into that were ops, especially working for the government, that were working for Scientology, that were involved in the high end, what you'd call the high end genetic hybridization of baby farming, terraforming, the ones that were around me these past 3 years all had placements at 25 degrees of Gemini. And 25 degrees of Gemini is right, because Betelgeuse is at 28. And then you've got Bellatrix that's around 20 to 22, which is the second generation Orion star getting closer into the body. And so that 25 was, there's one little degree. I mean, like, all of Gemini is basically starseed locations, except one little sliver. I talked about this in 2022. It's one little sliver. And that's where they built their net to catch that combustion and that power and grid us in it as the air, as the cosmos. I don't know what the hell, but it didn't work. It went boom with divine plan, timing, and the fact that us starseeds have been down here waiting for this, because we kind of knew that they was going to do it, because they'd done it before on a 1,000,000-year count. So I love y'all. I'm going to try to get a little bit of shut-eye now, especially now that I know that Mim's up. We definitely know some stuff is going on. We also had 2 wrecks. Well, 1 wreck on the 31st in Dallas. A lot of crap is going down in Texas. If you would please send energy and send support etherically to Texas right now, because all of your main stuff is going down here with your connections to Texas, Mexico, and the Southern Hemisphere. And basically, we had to turn Texas upside down and land on the tip in order to even have any land left in that timeline that I was in whenever we did it. Because everything else had been taken over by AI grids and sedation. And that was the end of August. Now, since then, we've blown out. However, all of your deepest connections are down here in Texas, and especially the ones that have never been blown before. It anchored the whole damn thing. The whole damn thing. And so we've got these ports, because it used to be Egypt over here, right? So we've got these ports at Rockwall. And we have all these lakes that are over here, especially around the Dallas area. And so on the 31st in downtown Dallas, I know somebody hit an Ann Hesh grid because they flipped the car and landed in a little box. You can see it on my taco. They landed in a little box of these construction workers, and the whole car just completely flew off the road and flipped into this little fenced-in area. And it was an Ann Hesh moment. And if you don't know what that means, it means that they were trying to grid. They were driving cars, trying to grid an old grid in downtown Dallas. And that car hit one of our cosmic grids and just flew. Today, there was a shootout. And it shut down the entire bridge system going from Rockwall, and it was on Dow Rock Road. And it started as a high-speed chase that ended in a shootout, which tells me that they were trying to grid again right over there on those bridges. And there's specific bridges that you can only get from Rockwall to the other side. And what's also significant about that is right before I drank the AI, when I drank the AI in Rockwall, that the government fed me, basically. And that was 2019 in February. And on my way to Rockwall, to that house, because I knew I was getting set up, I had to drive so many neighborhoods over there. I was like, The girl was calling me over and over again because I should have been there, but I was basically webbing the whole thing. All these neighborhoods doing sigils, all in the land for like an hour, over in the Rockwall area. And on my way there, on that bridge, I had the Creatrix at the time, which was with our RH negative group, because we originally just tried to put back together your blood. That's when Biden and created the brand, and then they put all the, this is why your AB and the complete blood blew up, because they had already built a machine to hold it. It's why I had to go raw. It's why all of us are getting a new cosmic injection of new DNA, and we had to make a new race. As I was driving over that bridge, we were all screaming. I had 3 of them on the line. The Creatrix breaks the Matrix. The Creatrix breaks the Matrix. And today I saw that and I was like, oh, wow. It's that time.